So I'm John Dawkins, with IBM. I'm the retail partner and sector leader for retail for Canada for the GBS, which is the Global Business Service Consulting Group. Yeah, there's been some recent surveys that show that in some ways consumers are a bit disappointed with the retail offering in North America. It's not just Canada. The problem is there's a bit too much sameness in terms of the product offering, also just in terms of the shopping experience, particularly in store. So there's some retailers that are really sort of trying to step out to change that in terms of more of a experiential type of basically experience when I come in the store and how do I interact with the employees, with the store environment, and also with the product. And you see some pretty interesting interpretations of that. The first thing is sort out who you are and who you're going to be, because being in the middle is no place to be. And that's the biggest challenge, is that you either have to be a fantastic niche provider and do one thing brilliantly for the customers, or you have to be very, very cost effective and efficient. So what a lot of retailers are doing is they're really working on productivity of employees so that they have more time for customer-facing time, plus things like e-learning programs. So that would be the first biggest single noticeable wave in terms of demographics. The second thing would be basically diversity, which is there's fantastic diversity in Canada, which makes the country very rich as a place to live, but also makes things pretty complicated for a retailer. So how do you service those people? How do you localize assortments is one of the biggest single problems. Then the third thing is this issue of teens growing up with technology. And their expectation is that whether they buy through the web or buy through a call center or buy through in-store experience, that it's all one integrated multi-channel experience. And that's where retailers are just starting to try to basically meet those needs. The real history is retailers have been product organizations. And what they've done is that they've built their business models and their organization structure and their information technology up based on product and assortments and offering really exciting, fresh assortments of product on a changing basis, which is very complex to do. And then treating basically the customer as a separate data set. Some reasons for privacy, but even when I do allow that you use my profile, etc., there's been a disconnect between basically the customer database and the product transaction database and the process basically to manage those seamlessly. So what's changing now with IBM is we're doing a lot of work around things like master data management on one side for product, and then also for central customer databases, and then bringing them together. So that with the permission of the consumer, what you can do is you can look at my transaction history, you can look at my profile, you can look at my desires, and then from there, basically, it reaches out to all the different touch points as a consumer. So if I call in the contact center, what happens is it brings up my profile, brings up my transaction. If I go into the website, it's a personalized website and does the same thing. Basically, it's personalized for me. If I go in the store, they're able to identify me on a personalized basis. So that's the big shift where in this wave 1, wave 2, wave 3 in terms of customer centricity, customer loyalty in wave 2 was kind of customer segments with consistent profiles, and now the evolution is towards more personalized, one-on-one kind of meeting your needs, and also interchanges and dialogues, etc. So retailers are trying to do things basically to do a couple things. One is to add incremental services to consumers, for instance through kiosks, and then the second thing is to make that checkout experience just a lot faster. So IBM's been working with a lot of retailers. What it does is it starts with customer segmentation, number one, because customers do group into clusters, basically. So there is a real statistical process to look at what are customers purchasing, and then what are the local demographics, for instance, around trading areas around a store. And so what is your customer profile for that location, and what is your customer clusters, and then what is your specific assortment that you're going to offer, and then thirdly, what is the kind of client experience that you want? Do you really just want fast checkout, or do you want like a full extensive selling process? And so getting at that kind of granularity, location by location or by clusters of locations, is what retailers have been really working on pretty aggressively to sort out. But it's actually pretty complicated. It really needs things like very sophisticated data warehouse and clustering analysis and that kind of process that IBM's worked with a number of retailers in Canada to help sort through. So. Yeah, in terms of where e-commerce is in retail today and how that's evolved, is about 8 years ago, everybody thought that e-commerce was going to be a massive revolution and basically hollow out traditional store-type retail, and that didn't happen. There was a few examples like at Amazon.com, etc., where they found a niche for direct-to-consumer, which was very successful and met consumer needs, etc. But the reality is the most effective e-commerce strategy is it's a multi-channel strategy, because consumers really do want to shop multi-channel. So they are very happy. While I'm at home, what I'll do is I'll go on a website, I'll maybe do a product comparison or price comparison, etc. But then what I want to do perhaps is I want to call up through a call center a retailer and talk to them about something. And then the other thing is I'll shop in store. And retailers are really finding that consumers are extremely informed today when they come and shop in stores. So for instance, for televisions, if I'm going to go buy a 50-inch plasma TV screen, they're going to have done a lot of homework prior through e-commerce. And then basically, when it comes to the store level, a lot of times that is kind of solving the last kind of questions the customers have about HD TV versus plasma, and then basically closing the sale and talking about after sales services becomes a big part of the conversation. So. In terms of websites and what's happening with the evolution in retail, it's actually, we're at a very radical turning point. Basically, there's been Web 1, which was very simple kind of websites, kind of text-driven, etc.